The moment itself is biological. No announcement, no law, no warning. Strength shifts quietly inside muscle fibers, bone density, recovery rates. Across the planet, female bodies begin producing more power, more torque, more endurance, more resilience under load. Not gradually enough to be dismissed, not suddenly enough to panic. First, no one believes it. A few records fall. A few competitions end strangely. A few training sessions feel different. Coaches argue about technique. Commentators blame anomalies. Men assume they are tired. Women assume they got lucky. The illusion holds because culture lags behind biology. People still expect the old outcomes. They still arrange bodies according to familiar hierarchies. Strength is assumed before it is tested. Men reach first. Women step aside. Then the tests become unavoidable. In gyms, weights move that should not. In jobs that require lifting, carrying, holding, outcomes reverse. The difference is not dramatic at first. It is consistent. A quiet reliability that refuses to fade. Women recover faster. Women tire slower. Women stabilize under strain. Men notice last, not because they are unaware, but because the idea resists belief. Strength has always been more than muscle. It has been identity, expectation, permission. The first social cracks appear in mundane places. Moving companies, construction sites, emergency services. Tasks are reassigned experimentally. Efficiency improves. Injuries drop. Managers make practical decisions without ideology. Women are placed where force matters. It works. There is no celebration, just adjustment. Sports follow next, not as a revolution, but as a recalibration. Mixed events are tested. Training data accumulates. The results become undeniable. Where strength dominates outcomes, women begin to dominate fields. Audiences are confused, not hostile, uncertain. They are watching something that does not fit the stories they were taught. Victory looks familiar, but the victor does not. Commentary struggles to keep up. Language bends. Exceptional. Outlier. Evolutionary anomaly. Until the outliers outnumber the exceptions. Men respond unevenly. Some adapt quickly, focusing on technique, strategy, cooperation. Others push harder, train longer, injure themselves chasing a baseline that no longer exists. Pride becomes a liability. Workplaces feel the shift. Security protocols change. Physical authority no longer aligns predictably with gender. The assumption that men can enforce, restrain, protect begins to fail in practice. Nothing collapses, but nothing feels stable. Interpersonal dynamics change subtly. Arguments pause differently. Space is negotiated with new awareness. Not fear, calculation. People reassess proximity. Touch carries different meaning when power is redistributed. Dating shifts, not dramatically, quietly. Men hesitate where they once assumed. Women notice reactions in rooms, eyes tracking movement, bodies adjusting unconsciously. Attraction becomes layered with uncertainty. Who initiates now? Who protects? Who yields? The questions feel outdated the moment they are asked. Language struggles. Words like strong, safe, dominant lose their gender anchors. Compliments misfire. Insults lose force. Humor stumbles. Children adapt fastest. On playgrounds, rules rewrite themselves within weeks. Games change shape. Roles rotate. Strength is discovered, tested, normalized without commentary. Adults watch and feel something unfamiliar. Displacement. The military notices quietly. Training outcomes diverge. Endurance tests tell a new story. Equipment is reassessed. Doctrine hesitates. Institutions built on assumptions take time to rewire. No one wants to say it aloud yet, because saying it changes everything. The psychological impact spreads before the cultural one. Men experience a low-grade erosion, not of worth, but of expectation. The reflex to step forward hesitates. The confidence that came from physical certainty dulls. Some feel relief. The burden lifts. They are no longer expected to be shields. Others feel exposed, not because women are stronger, but because identity was built around comparison. Women experience something more complex. Strength brings attention. Attention brings projection. Power attracts responsibility whether it is desired or not. Being capable does not mean wanting to be in charge. Some embrace it. Some resist it. Most simply live with it. Violence statistics shift. Not instantly, gradually.
Certains crimes déclinés.
Others transform. Physical intimidation changes form. Power does not disappear, it reorganizes. Control seeks new channels. The myth that strength equals safety dissolves. Society realizes it never did. Cultural narratives scramble. Films hesitate. Heroes are rewritten. Old archetypes feel forced. New ones feel untested. Audiences react with discomfort disguised as critique. This isn't realistic. This feels wrong. Reality does not respond. Religion debates quietly. Philosophy wakes up. Anthropology revises textbooks. Theories about human behavior based on millennia of physical imbalance suddenly feel provisional. People ask what strength was really doing all this time. Was it protection or permission? As the shift becomes undeniable, the world enters a strange interim period. No one is oppressed by force. No one is liberated by law. Power has moved, but culture has not caught up. Men and women stand facing each other in a space where expectations no longer align with bodies. Every interaction carries a microcalculation, not fear, awareness. The old shortcuts are gone. And as societies realize that the most basic physical assumption underpinning hierarchy, labor, protection, and dominance has dissolved, a heavier truth begins to settle. This was not a swap. It was a collapse of certainty. Strength was never just physical. It was the quiet rulebook everyone used without admitting it existed. Now the rulebook is blank. And the question is no longer who is stronger. It is what happens when power shifts without asking permission. This was not an upgrade. It was a fundamental loss. The loss of a familiar imbalance. And with it, the loss of every story built to justify it. Time passes, and the shock dissolves into routine. The world does not flip overnight. It settles, slowly, unevenly, with the quiet resistance of habits that outlive the reasons they were created. Strength has changed, but meaning lags behind, dragging old expectations into a new physical reality. Society adapts the way it always does, not through declarations, but through incentives. Jobs that once filtered candidates by gender rewrite requirements. Insurance models adjust. Risk assessments update silently. In fields where physical resilience matters, women become the statistical norm. Men are not excluded. They are simply no longer assumed. That distinction matters, because assumption was power. Without it, everything becomes negotiable. Families reorganize, not dramatically but practically. Heavy tasks shift hands. Protection becomes situational rather than symbolic. Parents notice their daughters carrying more, enduring more, standing longer. Sons grow up without the quiet promise that their bodies will one day grant them authority. This changes childhood. Boys learn cooperation earlier. Strategy replaces dominance. Social intelligence becomes survival skill rather than accessory. Girls learn restraint, not because they must, but because power without restraint is dangerous, regardless of who holds it. Discipline becomes gender neutral. So does accountability. Relationships enter unfamiliar territory. Attraction does not disappear, complicates. Some men feel diminished not because women are stronger, but because they were taught to measure themselves against a baseline that no longer exists. Some women feel burdened, expected to carry not just weight, but responsibility, leadership, protection. Power attracts expectation. Expectation exhausts. Intimacy becomes more verbal. Negotiation replaces assumption. Boundaries are discussed explicitly because bodies no longer resolve tension automatically. This reduces some conflicts, creates others. Domestic violence statistics shift shape, not vanish. Physical abuse declines in some forms and rises in others. Control migrates from force to manipulation, from intimidation to leverage. Society learns, again, that power is adaptive. The lesson is uncomfortable. Strength never caused cruelty. It enabled it. Now that strength has moved, cruelty does not disappear. It searches for new hosts.
Institution répond unevenly.
The military restructures. Mixed units become standard. Equipment is redesigned. Leadership doctrine shifts away from physical dominance toward coordination and endurance. The transition is slow, resisted quietly by those whose authority was once unquestioned. Some men leave, some stay and adapt. Women rise through ranks faster, not because of ideology, but because performance accumulates. The myth of equality dissolves into the reality of difference. Sports complete the cultural shift, not with celebration, but with fatigue. After initial controversy, audiences acclimate. Records reset. Legends are rewritten. The novelty fades. What remains is unease, because sport was one of the last safe arenas where physical hierarchy felt simple. Now even that certainty is gone. Culture reflects the loss. Stories struggle to anchor conflict. The old archetypes feel dishonest. The new ones feel incomplete. Writers hesitate. Audiences sense something is missing but cannot name it. The missing thing is predictability. When power aligns with expectation, society relaxes. When it does not, vigilance becomes constant. Men feel watched in ways they never were before, not persecuted, observed. Women feel responsibility in spaces that once felt neutral. Strength draws attention even when it is unwanted. Safety becomes something they provide rather than receive. This reverses an ancient emotional flow, and reversal is destabilizing. Biology continues quietly. Over generations, selection begins to favor emotional regulation over physical assertion. Aggression loses utility. Cooperation gains ground. Populations shift not toward domination, but toward balance. But balance is not peace. It is effort. The most profound change is internal. Men redefine worth. Not all succeed. Some cling to old scripts, retreating into nostalgia, resentment, or performance of toughness that no longer persuades anyone. Others let go, discovering identities built on creation, care, intellect, connection. Women confront a different reckoning. Strength offers access, but also risk. Being able to dominate does not mean wanting to. The burden of restraint becomes moral weight. Society begins expecting women to be stronger and better. Power with expectation is a trap. The idea that strength equals leadership is challenged. Again, this time from the opposite direction. Children born into this world do not see a reversal. They see a baseline. To them, strength is simply variable. Authority is negotiated. Gender is no longer a shortcut. This does not make them freer. It makes them more conscious. Every interaction requires awareness. Every conflict requires articulation. The automatic scripts are gone. That is the cost. Looking back, historians will argue whether this change improved society. They will cite reduced violence in some areas, increased cooperation in others. They will argue that equality finally became tangible. They will be partly right. What they will struggle to quantify is the loss of simplicity. When physical hierarchy vanished, so did the illusion that it ever explained human order. Society lost a crutch it pretended not to use. And without that crutch, everything became heavier. Responsibility spread outward. No one could hide behind biology anymore. Not men, not women. Humanity did not become weaker. It became exposed. Exposed to the truth that power was never natural, never fixed, never moral. It was convenient, and convenience, once removed, leaves only choice. This world does not collapse. It matures, slowly, uneasily, without comfort. Strength moved bodies, but what truly shifted was expectation. An expectation, once broken, never returns the same way. This was not a victory. It was not justice. It was not revenge. It was the end of an ancient shortcut. And once that shortcut disappeared, Humanity had to face itself without it.